but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're going to meet, who you're going to meet, who you're going to because you don't know who you're going to meet, who you're going to
All right, let's go. All right, Cowboy Nation. It is what it is at this point. My name is Law Nation, LAW Nation. We're going to talk about this loss, right? And I know a lot of people are mad. A lot of people are upset. A lot of people are looking at this thing saying, okay, there's no Super Bowl. There's no chance. There's no reality of this thing because the Cowboys are doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. Let me know if the audio is okay. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know if you guys can understand what I'm saying. I really appreciate everybody that stayed tuned to us or stayed with us during this crazy process, this crazy year. All we can do now is just look back and say, okay, what can we take that was positive, stack those things together, and look for the future for 2021. This thing right here where we look, what we going through, right? Appreciate everybody, man. Thank everybody for tuning in. It was me, Big Game James Skywalker. We made it through the entire season. Yes, we're 6-10. But we're not folding up. We're not going anywhere, Cowboy Nation. Now we can really talk about the draft, right? Now we can talk about everything. Really appreciate you, Robert. Shout out to you, Justin. When y'all hit that share button, man, I really appreciate everybody that's tuned in. Hey, we still positive about the situation. Now, we can get angry and upset. Now, we will listen to 105.3 The Fan. Y'all know how I do. We're going to listen to them. And we're going to get this thing going the best way possible. We just got to look back and reflect and look back and say, okay, it's been 26 years now. It's been 26 years, and everybody that's still here, man, it's beautiful that you guys are not folding, right? Shout out to you, Michael. Appreciate you, John Deal, PVO. Yes, shout out to you, Jessica. Ryan, appreciate you, Pat Pitts or Certain in the first. Let's go. Yes, sir. My thing is, wherever we pick at, Pitts is a nice and a dangerous tight end / wide receiver, 6'6", 240 pounds, move and run like a gazelle. Hey, don't try to have the guy blocking. I think that he can get in the way, but he's not the world's beater as it relates to blocking. And if you're looking for a blocking tight end, you got that. You got Schultz. So let's not look for the end-all, be-all in that category. Let's just go ahead and see how we can stack things together. If you do decide to go BPA philosophy and you pick up a doggone tight end. Now, it's not the end of the world. I know a lot of people look at CeeDee Lamb drop and they say, look, he dropped the ball anyway. We could have had somebody else. We could have had a defensive player. No, that's cool. That's okay. That's okay. Because now we can look at it and say, okay, all right, we lost. Some can blame it on the coach. I've seen people say, well, why the coach didn't challenge this? Why the coach didn't challenge that? Yes, but getting mad at that will not change anything. Mike McCarthy is going to play out his contract or coach out his contract. They already said that they're going to give him a mulligan, so he's going to be back here next year. And regardless, newsflash, whatever you guys thought of the offense is going to be like this for the next 3 or 4 years. They signed and they extended Kellen Moore. That is the reality of it. So anybody who's angry and upset at the offense, get used to it. Flat out get used to it because they believe in Kellen Moore. And nothing we can do about it. Remember, Jerry Jones balled the team, and we only have emotions for the team, basically. And that's just the reality. I know that a lot of people are going to look at this thing and say, well, no, Law, I'm vested into this team. Because at the end of the year, you don't get a ride around in that yacht. You don't get a chance to get in that helipad and fly all around the world, right? That's the Joneses team. But we just love and we push forward and we still root for the team. That's all we have in this thing. We don't have no investments in it. If you do, let me know how you got a piece of that. What's your last name? Kellen Moore. This is from Gambino. He says Kellen Moore is trash. We're going to have to deal with it for 3 to maybe possible 4 or 5 years. And if I'm a betting man, it will be a situation and a scenario that he will be our next head coach. If I'm a betting man. Floyd Day, Law, I don't want to see that crow today. Yeah, that crow right there, man. It's either the crow or the aficionados, Let me see if I can find the aficionados, Y'all know how this thing goes, man. Bam, move the crow out the way. And let me see. Bam, look, which one you want, And no. We didn't lose because of the officials, right? Everybody would love to say that the officials lost us the game or what have you. No. That's just how it goes in football. I mean, we had a sack for crying out loud, and one of our guys had the hands all in the face of the quarterback, right? We can go back and forth with this. But I can say that, with the Joneses, I don't think that we will ever get the benefit of the doubt, right? Yeah. But you guys get what I'm saying. So let me put the crow back up there because I'm a man of my word. I'm going to put the crow up there. All right, ain't no crow in the NFC least. Well, we can still say this about the NFC least. There's no other division that got more Super Bowls than us, right? There's no other division that got more Super Bowls than us, right? If we want a cookie in that sense.
Today he said something about if the Pittsburgh game had been different, then you wouldn't be in this position. And you pointed out, no, it was the 2 Washington losses that put you here. And so I would have happily taken the playoff spot. I'd have happily taken that. Love to do another game, but none of it, including the successful last month, should obscure the warts. And today, I thought all of their warts that still exist were exposed. And I think that the thing that is hardest for me to swallow is the way they played the first half of the season anyway. Maybe
let me know. Give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear the guy talking.
The defensive approach. This is just me, and I could be completely wrong. But, Mike McCarthy sat there on January, whatever it was, last year at the introductory press conference, and people tried to pin him down on his defensive scheme preference. Are you 3-4 or 4-3, which is a complete misnomer. Nobody should even ask that question anymore. And so the question then becomes, he said, we believe in fitting schemes to players. And I don't think that's what they did. And I thought that all of the defensive problem, the reason that my answer to you is that I want to look at this defensive staff is all of the defensive problems at the beginning of the year, I thought were exacerbated by misevaluating players and by trying to ask players to do things that were unreasonable in scheme change given the absence of the offseason and the preseason. It's the same problem that that Washington, New York, Carolina, and Cleveland had, and Dallas handled it worse than all of them. And that's not an opinion; those are the facts.
Facts.
And if I'm sitting in the Jones suite, I want to go back and find out why that happened, because those things that happened led us to being in this position today.
Biggest surprise for you in 2020?
Well, I didn't think they'd be near. I mean, I guess we can look on both sides of the ledger. I didn't think they'd be this bad. I mean, I didn't think there was any way they could be this bad in the first half of the year. So that was a huge surprise. There were definitely some positives. I mean, Dalton Schultz.
Right. Definitely.
You realize that we said this during the broadcast, in the history of this football team, Dalton Schultz is only the fourth tight end to have 60 catches in a year. Jason Witten had 15 60-catch seasons, and Jay Novacek and Doug Cosby each had 2. And now Dalton Schultz, no one saw that coming. And so that's a pleasant surprise. And I think that for the most part, the draft class, I don't know if it's a surprise, but I think people expected Lamb to be good, but I think that they found their center in Biotish, and I think they found a player in Diggs. I think when they finally let him play, they found a player in Gallimore. So I think that when you get to
Wilson,
the day 2 guys going forward in the draft, and they turn out to be productive players, I don't know if that qualifies as a surprise, but it's certainly something you couldn't have planned on. So I think those things would be good and bad surprises for me.
As always, Brad, thank you for your time. Thank you for this season. Appreciate you as always. And certainly a season to remember, and hopefully one we won't have to repeat.
Yeah, anytime soon. But God willing, we can all be together again, and one way or another, look forward to doing it again in August.
Appreciate it, Brad. Thank you very much. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you, guys.
Brad Sham joining us here on the Dallas Cowboys postgame show. Cowboys season comes to an end here on January 3rd, 2021. The 2020 season, this horrific 2020 season, has ended as the Cowboys fall to the Giants 23-19. They end up 6-10 on the season and give up a franchise-high 473 points total this season. Wait till you hear what Jalen Smith said when he was asked if he'd be back next year. We'll hear that. Plus, once again, Mike McCarthy defending himself and the decision to not throw a challenge flag that led to a 50-yard field goal that could have been knocked out on a 10-yard completion to Pettis. So what Jalen Smith had to say when he was asked if he'll be back next year, plus Mike McCarthy explaining why he decided those to not challenge. It's all coming up next. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys.
Appreciate everybody that's tuned in. So this is the post-game show. Shout out to 105.3 The Fan. I'll post a link in the description box as well as the chat here so that you guys can follow along. Shout out to the Giants, though. They won, and, shout out to Coach Redball, Jason Garrett. He figured out a way to pull out a win as it relates to the offensive side of the ball. And trust me, we didn't get nothing going on the offensive side of the ball until late, and then our defense finally gave us something, right? It gave us a little nudge as relates to like a turnover here and a turnover there. I think that one of the bigger turnovers were the time that we got the turnover and it forced us to kick the field goal instead of going in for the touchdown. And the craziest thing of it all, like Ripley's Believe It or Not, was the fact that they didn't even attempt to throw the ball in the red zone, money zone, green zone, gold zone, whatever zone you want to call it, why we had that turnover, right? And all we were saying at the start of the year is that, hey, can we get a little takeaway, a little turnover? Now, I didn't get a chance to hear the first part of these interviews right here. I do see that some people were saying that the coach will be gone, Mike Nolan. At least he will be gone. Do you guys think that he will be gone for 2021 season? Is he gone? Let me get this crow out the way. Get out the way. Y'all think he's gone, right? Let me know. Post it in the comment box. Do you guys think he will be gone start of the new year? And what area of the defense will we focus on? Will it be a situation in a scenario where as we elevate George Edwards, Tom Sula? He's gone. Leron Evans says that he's gone. Kiara says, yes, he's gone. Jalen is gone. Nolan is gone. Are we going to try to implement a new system? I guess an analogy of this thing is we're going to build the house or build the plane while it's in the air again. Nolan gone, Johnny A. Mike Nolan is out of. He gone, dog. Terrence says he gone, fam. Okay. SJ says he's gone. Nolan should be gone. This is from Jesse Pope. Let me ask you this, and I'm just playing devil's advocate. Y'all know how this thing goes. Who showed up more today? The offense or the defense? Who showed up more today? The offense or the defense? One can argue and say, hey, Law, what about the special team unit? And we had some bonehead plays with Jordan Lewis. That was a bonehead play at Drive Killer. And as well as with Randy Gregory, we had some bone plays with that. And on top of that, I think that he had a few offsides and stuff like that. But who showed up more? It was like if you was like from the outside looking in, you had no bones to pick with this particular team. If you say you're just from the outside looking in, who played with more heart? Who gave you more chances? The offense or the defense? Who took advantages of the situation a little bit more? Defense jives balled out. This is from Demond. All right, none. This is from TA Cowboys. I feel you on that. I feel you there. Jeff Curtis says the D. Everybody's saying the defense. So my thing is, and I got it. I'm speaking. When I say this, I'm only speaking objectively. Let me see if they back.
It's just
so they still on commercial break. When I say this, I'm only speaking objectively. Who contract expires first? Mike McCarthy's contract or Kellen Moore's contract? Which one of these contract expires first? Or now all of their contracts are lined up and measure up together? Let me know. Because my thing is, yes, it's all fun and game, but now we're seeing that all of a sudden that Kellen Moore get this extension. But these contracts, is more contracts longer than Mike McCarthy's now? So from my understanding, did Mike McCarthy say, okay, I want to sign off on Kellen Moore's ability to coach this team as it relates to the offensive side of the ball? Or are they both expiring at the same time? Because my thing is, I love the Joneses. I love what they do. But what we did here is did the exact same thing that they did to Coach Phillips, in my opinion. Now, the money haven't came out yet. But I want to know, too, that now all of a sudden, all right, so Mike, it depends. Okay, I love this. Let me see if I can read right here. Jackie, shout out to you, Miss Jackie. Mike McCarthy is 2024 and depends on 2021. Okay, so 2024, 3 years from now is 2024 for Kellen Moore. That's bizarre. So they end on the same year, what have you. I want to know that Mike McCarthy signed off on that. Or the Joneses said, nah, dog, that's our guy, that's our kid, And my thing is, I'm not putting him under the bus. I'm not putting him in front of the bus. But regardless, this is going to his third year as an offensive coordinator ever. And it's going to be a situation whereas now we're going to have to go through some more growing pains before he get on the right path. I think around 4, year 5, maybe year 6, now we are all of a sudden seeing this brilliant Kellen Moore. But I think that he draw up beautiful plays, but it took too long for us to get into the groove as it relates to the offensive side of the ball tonight or today. It took us too long. And I just don't think that this coach really had his mind together on this decision.
I don't know what
Let's go.
I've been in the NFL
that's one of those things
30 years.
People always assign it to coaching, and I'm here for that.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where you talk about the preparation and how your practices were and getting on an airplane and, oh, wait, we had we couldn't practice like we needed to because we had COVID protocols. I get all that.
Yeah.
But, for a game that you absolutely have to have, to come out and not play well to start, that says a little something to me right
Dalton,
there.
Andy Smith, Jalen Brown, Anthony,
the fact that they were able to kind of make things in the second half and kind of get it the right way, I think was all year long we've seen them make some better second half. If you want to call them adjustments or figure some things out. But it was unfortunate that they started off the game as poorly as they did.
All right, let's hear from Jalen Smith when he was asked about if he'll be back into 2021. But first, Geico, great news. There's a quick way you could save money. Switch to Geico. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you could save 50% or more on car insurance.
Shout out to Geico, man. But I don't have sponsorship with Geico. But shout out to 105.3 The Fan. Y'all make sure y'all get that Geico.
How frustrating is it to not win this game that you need to stay alive for the playoff race?
It's tough. Anytime you get an opportunity to step on a national football league field, you go out there and the goal is to win. And especially when there's so much on the line, to come up short, it hurts. No one likes losing. And for us, it's about how do we learn, how do we grow from this. Prayers to anyone who's hurt and praying for health and sickness. And for us, it's about learning. It's about learning. So just got to continue to process, what's happened, not only today, but all season, and grow from it. In times of difficulty, it really shows each individual who they are. So we got to find a way to persevere. It's been a long season, and for us, we didn't get the job done. So we're not satisfied at all. I'm not.
That fumble at the end, did you guys think? I'm assuming you guys thought that you recovered. What did you see there in that last sequence in that run?
Ball out. Got to get the ball. And we thought we had it. But we aren't the referees. We don't make decisions. And at the end of the day, you just got to live with every single play. You never know when it's your last. So you just got to cherish each moment. We could have done a lot better today as a unit, and we didn't. So now it's just about, okay, how do we debrief and learn from this and segue ourselves into a great 2021 season in the near future.
Like you said, there's been a lot of discussion about the futures of players, whether they're under contract or not. Do you feel like you will be back here next year at all?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, watch the film. But for me, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to play this game. So many people thought I'd never play ever again. So for me, I'm my worst critic, and I'm my biggest fan. I'm gonna keep battling, keep grinding. But the guys that know football and know our scheme and watch film, I don't have to speak on. I don't have to speak on myself. It's all love. It's all love.
Huh. Wow. Guys that.
A yes or a no. That's all you had to say. If you have confidence in what you do, you don't have to go beat around the bush. Law, are you going to do Cowboys Sports Talk next year? Yes. Law, do you like the Cowboys? Yes. God dog, man. Look, he said people that know football, that watch football, know what I'm going to be at next year or what have you. Nah, dog, be like, dog, what my contract says. I'm Jalen Smith. You got to speak it into existence, Jalen. I love what you do on the field, off the field, and all of these things, but you got to speak it and translate it out there to the people and say, hey, I'm the leader of this team. What you mean where I'm going to be at next year? That's what I would have said. What you think? Law, are you going to have your job next year? Yes, I'm going to be there. And I counted on all of my contemporaries, all of my compatriots to be there too. I don't want to beat around the bush.
He chooses to listen to what he wants to listen to. But, I trust me, I've heard plenty of conversations about his contract, his play, and what possibly could happen going forward.
It's just so alarming to me. Alarming, but it's funny. Watch the film. It's like, what am I missing here, Broadus?
Oh, well,
is Jalen Smith misidentified as a good football player?
Well, you would have. He's looking at tackles, the number as tackles, and there's several of those tackles that are way downfield.
Somebody has to make tackles.
Yeah,
over the course of 17 games.
There's no question. And there's problems they've had with him in coverage, and But Ari, that's where this team's at. When you're 6-10, there's a lot of people that are going to walk out of that room and they're going to look at themselves and they're going to say, "Well, I wasn't the problem. And those are the players that you need to move on from. Those are the coaches that you need to move on from.
Yeah.
And I want to believe with my heart that Jerry and Stephen Jones will make the right decisions when it comes. This is just totally, and you can say what you want about the injury. They had a chance at least to win a game today and give themselves an opportunity. Now they don't even have an opportunity. You got beat by a team that had trouble scoring.
Right.
And you allowed them 23 points. They're good defensively, but you were your own worst enemy today with the way you played in the opening of the first half, and then the way your coach handles some of the mechanics of the game.
Here's Jalen Smith once again. When his future with this team is still very much up in the air, here's him being asked about that.
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, watch the film.
Watch the film.
Yeah.
Do you think so? Jalen Smith finishes the season 144 total tackles, including the 10 he had today, 154 total tackles.
Yeah.
But when people allude to sort of organizational issues here, part of it is this lack of accountability. And so like this idea of me, I can't be touched. Look at how good I am.
Yeah. I don't know if it's lack of accountability or it's
softness in the locker room.
Nah, I think that to me when you start to talk about demeanor, are you really a leader? Are you a guy that talks about being a leader? Are you a guy that people respond to?
You a guy that runs to the opposite end of the field to celebrate an interception you had nothing to do with?
Yeah. Are you the guy that your teammates look up to? And I'm sure that if you gave the opportunity for a lot of players to talk about that, heck, the Slater report talked about the things that were going on in that locker room. So Jalen, he could have taken another approach, like, listen, I can only control what I can control, and then we'd have been okay with that. But his demeanor has always been like, "What are you talking about? Me being a bad player?" Well, sometimes you were, and sometimes you weren't.
Right.
All he had to do, Jalen, is say, "Hey, Jalen, dog, you think you're gonna be back here next year?" Yeah, I'm going to be back here next year, and we're going to be back bigger and stronger and better. That's what he should have said. And on top of that, what Jalen should have said, too, was saying, hey, okay, I'm the leader of this team. Where you think I'm going to be at? Where you getting this stuff from? Are you out? If you want to take that side boy act, you know what I'm saying? And he said, he should have just said, hey, who's off the field talking about this? I'm the leader of this team. That should be his mindset. Although, I think that somebody else probably be the leader, but he should at least exemplify and exhibit that type of mindset, have that type of culture already instilled, right? Because the last thing you want as the Mike or as the linebacker in general, who is the quarterback of this particular defense, is somebody who's wishy-washy. Man, you can't even get into heaven being lukewarm. Let me know if I'm lying. And, you got to be all in on this thing. That's all I'm saying. You got to be sitting there saying, hey, this is my team. I can't make this stuff
in and
up.
out of the lineup. I think you have some hope at safety right there with when you start talking about with Donovan Wilson.
Right. Not great in coverage, but better, strong box safety.
Need to pair him with somebody that plays with a little bit better range. They've got to get better at corner. Too many times today. And I think corner will naturally take care of itself. Depending on, you might sign a Wouzier back if it's at a reasonable deal. Jordan Lewis, I wanted to believe, was really always a competitive guy, but bad 15-yard penalty. It didn't kill him today, but that could have been a bad play. He had a chance. Ball went over the top. He missed the ball. They've got to get better in the secondary overall defensively. And I feel like they've got to get better at some of the defensive coaching spots too. Not just Mike Nolan, but how are we teaching things in the secondary? Do we have enough experience at teaching in the secondary? Is the linebackers getting taught well enough? What's Jim Tom Sula doing with the defensive line?
Defensive line, okay.
There's plenty of questions that need to be asked, but and my hope is that they address each one individually. It's just not a wave of the hand and, oh, you're right, Mike, we'll be fine, and we don't want confrontation here. I would like to believe that if you're 6-10, you're 6-10 for a reason. It's not just all personnel. You got to evaluate the coaches as well, and that's on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively.
Okay, so with that being said, most important moves this offseason in your estimation?
Well, you got to get your quarterback signed.
Sign Dak Prescott.
Yeah, if that's what you're going to do.
Replacing Mike Nolan.
I would like to believe, yes, that would be a big factor, yes.
Improving the defense, how?
When you need,
go get him.
Honestly need more. It's going to sound cliche to say you do need more playmakers. You need those guys
go get them.
That in this day and age that can cover, that don't lose separation, that make plays on the ball. Guys that in the middle of the defense control blockers, play square, don't let just gash runs hit you. Linebackers get off blocks, run downhill, tackles for loss. Those are you're looking for legitimate playmakers, guys that when you plug them in, that all of a sudden it's like, okay, that guy right there is forcing negative plays, and they don't have nearly enough of those guys. The only guy they have that really can force negative plays is Tank. He's the only guy when it comes to run pass that he can create negative plays.
And I do think we're going to see a changing at defensive coordinator. I do think the Cowboys are going to make a commitment to drafting defensive players. I guess the question then becomes, can the Cowboys improve their defense enough through what they have and through the draft and through a few cheapies here in free agency?
You're going to have to. You're going to have to. I mean, and you might not be able to fix it just in this 1 year, but you're going to have to figure out, okay, scheme-wise, what do we need to do? What kind of players do we need to have? And then the next trick will be, can this defense, the turnovers and stuff I thought was outstanding here the last 5 weeks. You need to try and whatever you were doing the last half of the season as far as teaching, that seems to be a pretty good plan right there. So I don't know. I just don't need to be the bottom. I don't need to be the last defense in the league. If I'm the 15th best defense in the league, working my way up,
Cowboys.
I would be very happy because I feel like I'm going to have a top 5 offense with my quarterback, my receivers, and then my offensive line.
You look at the Kansas City Chiefs last year that won a Super Bowl versus the Kansas City Chiefs the year prior. You're talking about elite level offenses. Right. The difference between those two teams, one that won a Super Bowl and didn't, was a horrible defense and an average defense. And that was going into the year. The question mark I had for this team was, can their defense be average? Because if they can have an average defense, they could win a Super Bowl. Obviously, they never got to average on defense. 877-881-1053. 877-881-1053. We'll hear from your phone calls and your texts coming up.
Appreciate everybody, man. And we'll jump back in with them. Shout out to Tyrone Church for making a donation to help elevate the nation. Appreciate you so much.
Dalton, Andy Smith, Jalen Brown, Anthony Awuz, Cheeto Wood, Xavier, all getting cut and doesn't deserve to say their first name first.
Appreciate you, man, for that, Tyrone. And as well as the Lunatic, appreciate you.
Def need upgrades, but always go Cowboys.
Yeah, so we were talking about defense. Man, shout out to Diggs, man. One-on-one coverage on the outside against Slayton, and also with the kid who played for the Dallas Cowboys, Shepard. He did a great job of containing those guys and limit them to certain catches. Now, when they strayed away from Diggs, that's when they ate. Let me repeat. When they strayed away from Diggs, that's when they ate. They ate up Anthony Brown. I said, good Lord. Shout out to you, Terrence, man. Appreciate you for tuning in on the Facebook group. But, man, they ate up. They ate him up. And I'm sitting there like, okay, when we going to stop the bleeding with this? And they played the kid off 10 yards from the ball. And remember, he's challenged in a sense with his height. And in and out of his transitions, when he kicked back inside, he just getting separated on consistently. And I was sitting there like, okay, all right, cool. AB, our version of AB, he can't cover Slayton. And the dog for sure can't cover the Shepherd kid. So when we gonna make that change up? And they just never did. And my thing is, I'm about to say Andy Dalton, but what's the guy named Daniel Jones? One read guy. When we blitzed, when we brought the pressure, we was able to get home. That's the craziest thing. Or he'll throw the ball away, or he'll throw the ball at the feet. I think that by us being so relaxed and so off and not being aggressive enough hurt us. You bring the pressure to the young kid. You make sure that you flash in front of his face. Why all of this laxy-daisy stuff in this particular game? I was looking at it like, come on, let's keep that momentum going. I do know when we look at the running, how they gashed us in the first series, in the first drive, the first 15 plays were scripted, which was good. Jason Garrett came out with a great plan. He threw the ball out of shotgun the first play, and then he ran out of shotgun. And on top of that, they kept running the ball, and they said, hey, why pass the ball when we can gash them? And they attacked the middle of the field. So there goes to show you that, yes, our edge guys did okay, but in the middle, the game is won and lost down in where? The trenches. Oh, my goodness. The game is won and lost down in the trenches, and you saw that by us missing Antoine Woods, by us missing out on Justin Hamilton, who been a serviceable guy, shout out to Natchez, Mississippi, by us missing that and throwing in a guy named Eli. I can't say his last name right now, but when they threw in Eli, he was just getting moved out the way. Tyrone Crawford getting moved out of the way. And they was running the ball at will in the middle. Hey, when they had 96 doing his job or what have you, he's two-gapping his thing. But at the end of the day, yes, he's cool and all, but we still need big meat. You know what I'm saying? That thing on big meat. We still need big meat, though, you know. M-E-A-T, though. We need big meat, though, you know. We need big meat in the side, you know, because what Gallimore, 309, 302. He's no 330 guy. So he can't play that one all day. He can play the 3 tech. So until we identify that issue, and I know a lot of people are going to be looking at it and say, well, Law, they went and got Poe this offseason, and he didn't really do anything for us. Well, Poe, if we did our homework, Poe was on a downward spiral. And the Cowboys came out, I think, last week or a couple of days ago. I think Stephen Jones was saying, okay, yeah, we still like McCoy. What I don't want them to do is fool around and pick up McCoy and say, okay, yes, our solution for the interior is okay, because we're living in the land of optimism. We're going to have a Tristan Hill back, and we love the development that we got from Gallimore, and our one tech will be a Justin Hamilton. That's not going to work that way. Oh, on the opposite side of the ball, Dexter Lawrence, you didn't hear his name all game, but he accounted for making sure we double team. And your boy, Leonard Williams, a lot of people said, oh, we don't need him. You know, when he was out there on the market, was eating. And the other guy, Thomason, LaDainian Thomason cousin, right? Whatever his name is, he was eating. They killed us on the inside. They had Connor Williams. I said when we were doing a live play-by-play, I said, who did it the best? Connor Williams or Michael Jackson, the moonwalk? Did you guys see that play? I mean, Michael Jackson had nothing. May he rest in peace on Connor Williams. And then your boy, I love Joe Looney, but man, Joe Looney was like, hey, help me. Help me. Oh, that's my help, Connor Williams. man getting dog walked. These guys, man, they had some. They might as well have some dress shoes on. They was moonwalking left and right. But they didn't get it. They didn't get a lot of sacks, but they got a lot of pressure. Man, it's crazy. And Dalton want to hold on to the ball forever, right?
Sean, can you just start with the emotions of this team? You kind of play your way back into this, give yourself a shot, and then unable to finish it today.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's tough. Proud of how hard we fought down the stretch here. The guys worked the right way. A bunch of great guys that I love playing with. That brought it day in and day out. And it's one of those things where you have a lot of hope. You come into this game, you think you can get it done, and yeah, we fell a little short. But I'm still proud of the group and love playing with them.
Do you think you guys had the ball there when Gallman fumbled?
I did think. I saw from my view it was an obvious fumble, and then I saw that we came up with the ball. So I guess I didn't understand how long it took to kind of realize what happened. But you'd like to get the ball in that situation, get it back to the offense, and give them another shot to win the game.
Defensively, you certainly got better as the game went along. Just what were some of the issues there early in the first half, and what adjustments were made as you seemed to get better in the second half?
Yeah, we started slow. I mean, they 6 plays, drove down the field, scored a touchdown. I thought we played better in the run game. We started to stop them, and then the 2-minute drive before half, that was tough, letting them score before half. But second half, I was proud of how we responded, played well in the run, made plays, turnovers, had some sacks on the quarterback. But there's no question that we needed to start faster than we did.
What do you make of some of those late penalties after the play, late hits that transpired in the first half for the defense?
Yeah, I thought it was a little lopsided. I thought that could have done a better job looking at both sides of the ball on that one. To be honest, I thought that our guys need to be able to, no matter what, move on to the next play. But for sure, if you look at it, when it's all on us, you need to look deeper into the play.
Sean, do you wonder if you got more left in you and want to come back and play another season?
Yeah, I mean, I love this team. I love this organization. I love playing the game. And as you get older, it is what it is. You get older and you question things. I still think I have a lot to give. But at the same point, you acknowledge that as you get older physically, things change. I'll take time. I'll talk to the family and really think it through. I've been so lucky to be part of this. I love all my teammates. To be able to play has been a complete dream. And to give it up is not something that's easy because you want to win a Super Bowl. You love playing. You love practice day in and day out. It's a harder decision than I thought it would be. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. And I'll take some time. But I've been so lucky and so blessed.
Sean, how does that looming decision factor into your emotions right now, even if you've had years like this where you've had to consider before?
Say that one more time.
How does that looming decision factor into the emotions you feel right now, even if you were in a similar situation last season?
Yeah, I think that I've gotten great advice. You can't make decisions in season or right after the season. You need the perspective of getting away from it further, and you think about yourself physically. You think about yourself mentally, and then role-wise, can you still help the team? Can you go out on the field and play a role where you know that you can make sure that you're helping the team win? And so you have to check all those boxes and know it 100% before you make a commitment to come back. And so that'll be the process I go through. Hey, can I help us? Physically, can I continue to do this? Mentally, am I ready? You really look deep into those before you make a commitment.
What is it? Obviously, the results aren't what anybody wanted, players and coaches, including Mike McCarthy. But what have you learned about Coach McCarthy during his first year that make you believe that whether you're back here or not, that the Cowboys are going to be trending in the right direction with him as head coach?
Just how positive he was throughout the entire season. I mean, it's been a crazy season for every team dealing with COVID, and then for us. Dealing with some tragedy, dealing with injuries, some guys that we count on that are great people and players out. But his ability to continue to will us to help make sure we're practicing the right way. And then you really were able to see it in December. I mean, we played the right way. We were able to win games when it mattered the most. And that was part of the players, but it was him willing us and keeping perspective constantly. And you know, I've been lucky to play for him, and it's been great.
Sean Lee there, what could possibly be his final game in the NFL. Lee, who has been sort of a bit part, had played in meaningful snaps for the Cowboys this year. But Brian, I mean, what did you see from Lee this year? Do you think that this is the end of the road for Sean Lee?
Yeah, you know, him and his wife, they love California, love getting on their bikes, riding, going finding fish taco places and stuff like that.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, that's a good life. And with Sean's always been one of those guys that believe that he can do whatever he wants to do. And we'll see what happens with the situation with the staff here. You know, it might be an opportunity where somebody says, maybe not the Sean Lee defensive coordinator, but would Sean Lee be interested coming back as, say, a linebackers coach, something like that?
Yeah, just give it up, Sean Lee, man. I appreciate him, man. He's one of the guys that we can look back and say to ourselves, hey, he had a great chance and opportunity to be a Hall of Famer, but the injuries occurred, and no one can predict the injuries. No one can. And shout out to him, man. I met him, wonderful guy, always positive when you see him. And he speaks with authority on the field, but he's very, very, very gentle off the field. And I just wish all what's best for him, but I believe that the sun is setting on him, and he should just sit this thing out. I like what Travis Frederick did, you know, when he realized that his play level and the way he's not able to elevate himself any further, and he decided to step back from the game and allow other things to happen. I think that would be probably the best move for him. At once upon a time, Sean Lee in this very game against the Giants recorded 22 tackles. And I'm not talking about way down the field. I'm talking about 22 important tackles. Look, Rivera, you finna get kicked out of the club. I'm 9 years older than James Harden. And no, he do not look like me, and I do not look like him. And I'm no dollar brand or no Walmart version. So I don't mind you talking, but just be respectful over here. I don't take account of any disrespect. So you're gonna get the boot, fam. My thing is, and I'm 9 years older than James Harden, by the way. You know, so if anything, he looks like me, and I do not look like James Harden. So if anybody talk about me looking like James Harden today, I'm not playing with it. You guys getting the boot. That's just the reality of it. I'm tired of it. But nevertheless, with the Sean Lee situation, I think that it would be best for him to leave and just retire, ride off into the sunset, and get things going the second part of his career. If he come back as a coach, that would probably be a good situation. But outside of that,
other than Doug Peterson, he goes for it more times than anybody on fourth down. And I'm thinking, okay, cool, that's different than what. But then we saw all those early fakes, and they weren't working, and different things. And you know, today you've got to know with that situation. And I'm talking about the challenge.
Pace.
You've got to know that. With the game, with the time on the clock, it was worth a timeout to try.
Right.
That's where you know, as a game manager, you have to know the situation, and you cannot get lost. You have to be able to click over on that headset and say, "Hey, Mike Nolan, think about this. Hey, Kellen Moore, think about this. Hey, Bones, we're going to do this." You know, that's what I want my coach to do. But I don't disagree with the caller there. There's been some decisions that were made this year that I'm like going, man, that's not the direction I would go. But he is the head coach, and I'm just a guy doing post-game radio.
There's a lot of distaste for Mike McCarthy's first season on the text line and on the phone lines at 877-881-1053. 877-881-1053. We'll address that distaste coming up next. The post-game show brought to you by Papa John's. Better greet.
So that's just the situation with Sean Lee. My thing is, okay, so they talked about the coaching a little bit. Do you guys really think that he's going to be gone, though? You know, I really got to go back to that. If we do decide to bring in a new coach, will it still be a 4-3 or will it be a 3-4 defense, or will it be somebody elevated from within? That will be the situation in the scenario, because at the end of the day, we're going to have to look back at this thing and say we don't want this team to be going through the echoes or finding through this and looking through that of a new philosophy as it relates to coaching. That's going to be the reality of it. When we sit back and look at this thing, okay, all right, so what they going to do now? Are we going to bring in a 4-3 coach, or will it be a 3-4 coach, or are we going to try this hybrid mess again? You know, that's just going to be the craziest thing of it all on how we're going to handle these type of things or that side of the coin. That is all I'm saying, right? That's all I'm saying. Man, it's crazy, Cowboy Nation. Let me just read some of your comments. Cody says, Lee can't fix Jalen and LVE. You're right. And Lee, my thing is, he's a brain. He's an expert as it relates to knowledge of the game. But at the same time, we can see that he's a tick or a couple of seconds late because Father Time is undefeated. Father Time get out there, and it will slow you down. It'll beat you up and say, okay, what's next? You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it goes. So my thing is, all right, so we talked about the hesitations of Jalen Smith talking about will he be on his team, will he not be on his team, or what have you. And we don't know whether or not he's a true leader. And I can tell you that from his actions and from his words, he's really not in that leader category. And LVE, he's hot and then he's cold. Then he's hot, then he's cold. And then you look at the game and you're sitting there saying, okay, LVE, when are you going to stay healthy? When you going to get things going? And that's the problem with that. Corey says fire all coaches, or even I don't know about that. You got to keep some continuity going. No more former Cowboys for coaches. This is from Willis. I agree. All of this former mess. Look, just move on. But in a mom and pop's business, like I said in my previous video, when you have that mom and pop business, you tend to hire people that you know. You tend to trust people that's within the family. You tend to go back and look at it and say, okay, this is when we had the good times going. Let me hire this person. Oh, this is the person that I trust with the account. And that's what the Cowboys been doing. Look, our last coach, Jason Garrett, former player, hey, friend of the family, head coach. We can see the writing on the wall with Kellen Moore. Friend of the family, former player, offensive coordinator, got the fastest promotion in life from quarterback coach to offensive coach as it relates to the offensive coordinator. And now in 3 years, he could be the head coach. Depending on how we start next year, I don't know. If Mike McCarthy dropped the ball again, let's say if we start off 0-3 or 0-2, then you might hear breaking news. Cowboys now fire Mike McCarthy and elevated Kellen Moore as their head coach. We continue to do the same thing. And I'm not, trust me, I'm not complaining. I'm not out here complaining about this. I'm just explaining how this process goes for right now. That's just how they've been doing. Then hire Nate Newton as a fitness coach. This is from Cinnamon. Coach D, if Mike McCarthy was coaching against us, trust me, he would throw that red flag. I'm not trusting coaching staff. This is from Coach D. Yeah, that is kind of weird. That is crazy, all in the sense right there of the fact that he didn't at least throw the challenge flag. And it's the craziest thing. It's the craziest thing. Yeah. One play. This is from Greg Berry. Appreciate you. Yeah. Next year, it will be the same problem. Law, I just don't see anything changing. This is from Akeem. Appreciate you, Akeem. Always in the chat. My thing is, as far as next year, always the same thing. All right, so let's look at the positives. I don't believe that the slew of injuries that we had this year will move on and carry on to next year, right? But I will be a fool to not plan and properly protect myself in the event if this were to happen, right? So my thing is, how can we better our depth purposes? I think that Scott and Big Game James, they were talking about the quarterback. At least have a quarterback that's similar to your starting quarterback, right? They can come in and have a similar vibe. So that'll be the first check box. So do you bring back, first, do you sign Dak Prescott? Or do you sign and trade to help elevate the defense? Or do you sign Andy Dalton to another contract? Or do you say, okay, here's your walking papers. You can go here or you can go there for more money, and maybe you can get a compensatory pick. I don't know how that thing all work out. I haven't did my homework on that. That would be the questioning there. You got to say to yourself, okay, We have Ben DiNucci, who will probably be a wasted pick if we go draft another quarterback. And 9 times out of 10, I think that the Cowboys will draft a quarterback, right? So we gotta solidify one area of our field of football. That's the quarterback. Number 2, what we have to do is look at this offensive line. We have to look at the offensive line because there's no way in life you can sit back and say to yourself, all right, Tyron Smith is going to play not 16 weeks, 17 weeks. There's no way you're going to predict that he's going to do that, right? So now you got to start looking at the tackles. All right, we seen what we did with our less expensive guys that's out there. The offense looked fluttered. Connor Williams, he still can't bust through a wet paper bag. He good on certain sparks, but still, football, playing that particular position, is about 60 plays and not giving up a massive amount of yardage as it relates to the interior on every other down. You can't do that. And he will always be compromised because he just don't have the strength from the inside there, right? Let me know if I'm wrong. And, of course, still got some valuable reps at right tackle. But now you got Lyle Collins, who's supposed to be back. We don't know. That's why when I did the draft, if we go BPA, if you go best player available, and you have I guess Slater is he's there, maybe you just pull the trigger on Slater, and then in the second round you go with the fact that you go out there and get a J.C. Horn if he's still available, or you go and get your dog as it relates to your cornerback to help that area out, or you go offensive tackle. And then in the second round, you go with Christian Barmore. I'm just going off of PPA philosophy. That's the only thing that we can look at it from here. So we got to shore up quarterback, at least sign Dak Prescott to a deal, a willing deal, or you got to solidify that front 5, the offensive line. You got to do those 2 things.
Tight game, and the 3 timeouts was obviously of high value there.
Too.
So we just didn't think there was enough information to overturn it.
Didn't think there was enough information. The 3 timeouts were of high value.
Not in that situation. It wasn't. I mean, you had to do everything you can. That's a crucial. Those 10 yards, and
the difference between 3 points.
Hey, let me tell you what. This is when, and you also have to know. Okay, what's Graham Gano's range? That's one thing when you're sitting there, you're thinking about this. It's like, listen, hey, wait. By the way, they just picked up 10 yards here. That now makes it a 50-yard field goal. There's a chance that they're going to kick this thing, and it's going to affect the scoreboard here. That is timeout is not important there. Making sure that they don't get those 3 points is the most important thing there.
He was also asked by Michael Gelkin of the Dallas Morning News, how do you handle replay situations?
Well, I mean, we're trying to gather as much information as possible. Obviously, you don't get a whole lot of help on the road, particularly if it's a play that is something that you have higher interest in than your opponent. I think that's the norm. But also, we have coaches in the box that relay the information. That ultimately I make the decision.
Basically, I have coaches in the box upstairs that relay information to me, and I make the decisions.
Man, a longtime NFL assistant, he has to know that he is not going to get help from a visiting replay. He's just not. That's your response. That's why you have people in the box studying that stuff. That's why you have somebody sitting there the whole entire time watching that if a knee is down, a foot is out of bounds, if the ball was tipped. There are coaches that have responsibilities during that game. And I don't know how you could say in that particular time with the time remaining on the clock and how the magnitude of the play, I don't know how you could sit there and say that's not worth the challenge. I just don't. Even if you're wrong, you have to challenge that. Make the officials. Right. And the fact that Mike Pereira is in Los Angeles and he says, hey, guys, by the way, that probably would have been overturned. That's troubling to me. That really is.
So how do you evaluate McCarthy? I mean, this is sort of constantly something we've gone back to.
Thumbs down on pandemic plan? Is that what I told you about?
Total thumbs down on the pandemic plan.
Yeah. Thumbs up on execution of getting your team through the season without major problems, with the COVID and stuff like that.
What about some of the things that we were kind of looking for out of a new coaching staff? Aggression.
I was very, he was aggressive. I can tell you the guy went for it. Like him and Doug Peterson go for it more on 4th down than anybody. But he coached a different style today than he normally would. And I I'll tell you what, man. I was that was like I said. I understand going for 2 if that's what he believes. I understand that.
Right.
I can live with that one. But not when the game was on the line like that, and it affected the way that the score. And you could probably say, hey, if the score got affected by not going for 2, but at that point in time, hey, this and the being towards the sidelines, no, that was a breakdown of communication between staff in box and head coach. Head coach is responsible for that challenge right there. I mean, I guarantee you, if you asked 10 coaches in that situation, would you challenge that and showed them the play? They would absolutely challenge it every single time. Every one of them would challenge that play.
Yeah, and
it's I don't care if it's bang or not.
None of them would say the timeout's more important than the risk of losing that challenge.
How could I sit here in Dallas, Texas, watching this in a studio and say, "Oh, the ball moved. Ball moved. He used the ground to secure the ball." That could be overturned.
I think ultimately for the entire season, to look at Mike McCarthy, I mean, there were some things that you liked. You know, I think it'd be unfair for, like a lot of people are, just completely throw the baby out with the bathwater here with McCarthy. I mean, I do think that they were game plan. You know, they did sort of game plan.
They weren't ready to play the first half today.
They were not ready to play the first half today, but I think they have come in multiple weeks this year with a game plan to expose certain players, exploit certain. Like we wanted them to be more matchup oriented. I think they were more so this year at times. I do offensively. They clearly were. What do you do well? Let's leverage that. They were obviously defensively. They didn't do that. It was something Brad Sham brought up. It was, you know, we're going to get the most out of our players and scheme to the best of their abilities, but they clearly didn't do that. So I certainly think there's things to like, certainly things to dislike, and then the game management.
Well,
certainly some question marks throughout games this year.
I don't know how you can go into the game today. Well, the offensive line. Leonard Williams had 3 sacks today.
Yeah, you gave up 6 sacks overall.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. I mean, and your offensive line has played well, but after the first 2, I'm like, okay, we need to go to a help plan here. If it means Dalton Schultz or Bell or somebody staying in, we have got to go to a help plan here, and not allow Leonard Williams to kill us in this game like he did.
877-881-1053. Let's talk with Mike in Dallas. Go ahead, Mike. You're on the Dallas Cowboys postgame show.
I appreciate you guys taking the call, man. This was one of those seasons, basically like the 2020 year last year.
Yes.
You know, man, this whole thing is in a nutshell, man. This thing starts at the top, and you know, people are laughing at the Dallas Cowboys, and Jerry thinks that they're laughing with him. You know, this team, man, I don't think Mike McCarthy is a bad coach. I just don't think he's the coach for this team. This is a young team and an undisciplined team, and this team is just not, for lack of a better words, man, this team is too stupid to win right now. It's so many stupid plays out there, helmet-to-helmet plays that they didn't call. It should have been about 3 or 4 of them that they didn't call. But just the lackluster play, everybody deals with injuries and things of that nature. But Mike McCarthy, I think he's a good coach, but I don't think he's the coach for this team. And Jalen Smith, man, I don't know what that guy is talking about, man, but that guy he's probably the biggest reason that the Cowboys are what they are. He's the bottom of the barrel. He should be happy he's playing in the league, and he's talking like he's a franchise player. Please don't bring him back. He is so misguided. It's sickening.
Yeah.
I'd rather bring an old Sean Lee back than him.
Appreciate the phone call, Mike. Yeah, it's hard not to hear Jalen Smith talk.
Oh, we're all beat down by him anyway.
And
it's just, this is just more. I mean, we're piling on, and you know,
but it's just how delusional he seems.
But he brings it on himself.
Right.
He brings it on himself.
Right. That's it.
And we're all tired of that. And that's, you know, I shouldn't say I'm tired. I'm just saying that the people, you know, like Mike, that's talking about, you know, like, oh man, you know, this guy's this and that, and yeah, I mean, that's he's allowed to do this. You know, that's where he's allowed to operate like this.
Do you think the Cowboys can be a Super Bowl team with Jalen Smith playing the snaps that he's played this year? Do you think that?
Why is that every question a Super Bowl question?
But because I think it's worth.
I'm not trying to bust on you.
No. I
totally. Mean, what answer do you want me to say?
No, you can't win with him.
Yeah, that's and you know that's it. Yeah, you're answering your own question, and I don't mean to be a smart A to you.
No,
I'm just saying though, when you say that, there's a lot of players on this team you can't win a Super Bowl with they're relying on.
He thinks you're crazy for thinking that.
Oh, I know. But he's allowed to operate that way. He's not fooling. I mean, he's fooling. I don't know who he's fooling.
I don't know who he's fooling. Jerry?
But I think everybody's ready to move on.
Yeah.
But your question, I'm not busting on you, Ari. I'm just saying though, of course not. The guy doesn't make nearly enough plays. He makes tackles. 7-8 yards down the field. He doesn't make nearly enough negative plays. There was a time in his career where he was making some negative plays.
Right. His third year.
Yeah. But now he doesn't. He doesn't make enough plays. And so,
in the conference.
Yeah, that's not now. There's teams that won Super Bowls without good players. Not a lot of them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Brian Broadus, Tepkin, Dallas Cowboys postgame show. Cowboys lose to the Giants 23-19. Their season is over at 6-10. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Spectrum Mobile is the fastest growing mobile provider in the nation. It's easy to...
All right, I'm going to see if I can do something new right here, Cowboy Nation. Give me a few seconds while I set this up. Give me a few seconds. Got y'all some music in the background. Let me know if y'all can hear that pretty good. Give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear the music in the background, right? Yeah. We're going to go right here. Give me a few seconds. We're going to open up the phone lines. And I got a new number for you all, so just bear with me. Let me set this up. We're going to open up the phone lines. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know how you guys feel about everything. Yeah.
All participants are muted.
Is it still too loud right now? Is it still too loud? Turn it down? Okay. What about now?
What about now? Is it too loud? Jeez. Audio still bad? Okay, give me a few seconds. Testing 1, 2, 3. Mic check. What about the audio now? Is it good? We good now? All right, so this is what I'm talking about, baby. Let me see if I can get this straight for y'all, man. Almost there. 569. Well, 563. I'm sorry. 999-999-1359 is the contact number. Yeah, 6 sacks is bad. Yeah, they gave it up. It's still too loud, huh? Signed Drew Bledsoe. 563 999, not the plan, but 1359. Somebody got to call in. Let me be my guinea pig. Somebody. If not, I can close it down because that's the only way I can test it. There we go. We got the 228. You're live, 228. Let me know if you can hear and everything. And can you hear me pretty well? Nothing to it, fam. Appreciate you, brother. Let me see if they can hear you. Hey, in the chat, can y'all hear the 228? Hey, man, this is the definition. Yeah, I can hear you pretty well. Can you hear me? How you doing, Bob? Nothing to it, fam. They say they can't hear you, though. Let me see if I can still build this plane while it's in there. All right. Just bear with me. All right, bro. They say they can't hear him. Okay. And that's probably be the issue there. Give me 1 second. Say something now.
How you doing, sir?
Can y'all hear him now? They probably can hear you now. They probably say something, fam.
How you doing?
Yeah, I bet you they can hear you now. All right, so yeah. So what's your thoughts on this thing, man?
Man, first of all, big fan. Love your show. Love you and the boys. Big fan from Mississippi. You know, had to represent for you. I'm just glad it's over with, bro. To be honest with you. I'm glad this nightmare is over with. Kick back, let's start this draft party. Let's get this draft started.
No doubt.
Mike Nolan in this defense. I'm getting too old for this, man. Getting too old. That was the softest defense I've seen in years. Couldn't stop water from running.
You ain't lying. So now they're going to go with a new defensive coordinator. What they got to do is the Joneses, either they're going to go all in on this guy and allow Mike McCarthy to pick out this defensive coordinator guy. I know that Mike McCarthy picked out Mike Nolan. Or they're going to have to really do their homework. That's just the reality of it.
I believe, honestly, it's going to be, Jerry's going to have to take a step back for the first time. He's going to have to trust Mike. I think that's the only way we're going to get back into this. You're going to have to let football people run football things. You're going to have to trust Mike. Find you a defensive coordinator. Get some continuity. You could have got a mulligan this year with all the COVID and no OTAs, no preseason. I give you a mulligan on that, but too many things in Week 17 kept popping up. It's Week 17. We shouldn't have been having preseason Week 1 mistakes. Like, we got guys out of position. We got guys don't know where they supposed to be. Lack of effort was the biggest thing for me. You know, you can hide scheming. You can scheme against bad teams. You just can't hide bad effort. And that's all this team kept showing me. It kept showing me bad effort. I got guys not tackling. I was glad to see it over.
Yeah, I'm still listening to you, man. I'm going to see if I can do this thing right quick. Hold on for me, fam.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no problem. I'm glad to see it over. And hopefully we get this thing with that worked out. We can get some continuity. Kellen Moore kept us in the game long as he could. Andy Dalton, unfortunately, I knew coming into this season, Andy Dalton, I mean, it was basically a playoff game. Anybody in the universe can tell me how many playoff games Andy Dalton ever won. Like, it was a playoff game. Andy Dalton did Andy Dalton things. I think, by now, I love Tyron Smith, but, man, it's getting sun setting on Tyron Smith just as it's setting on Sean Lee. You got to find time to find you somebody who can stay the whole long haul. We're going to 17 weeks now. Most importantly, that's an extra body. We need somebody who's gonna be able to hold up.
Yeah, I feel you on that, man. Appreciate everybody who's sticking through with this thing. Man, you talking about building the plane while it's in the air, man. I appreciate your thoughts from the 228. What's your name, fam? Because I know they ain't better hear me that much.
Tony, man. Tony from the Gulf Coast. Big fan of you, man. We know you Mississippi boys. You and Boston keeping it going for us Cowboy fans. Proud of you boys, man. Good show.
Appreciate you, man. All right, fam. I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to try to fix this thing while we're on the fly. But appreciate you, brother.
No problem.
Whoa, that's Tony right there. All right, so I'm going to have to fix this thing out another time. I thought I was smooth with it, that I can do it all on the fly, but I can't. My mic too loud, somebody else's mic. So what I'm going to have to do is, if I adjust my mic like this, I'll probably be too low, huh? Let me know if I'm too low. The gas is low. What about if I'm right here? Will I be too low? Y'all give me a thumbs up if I'm right here, if I'm too low, or am I still too loud? If the gas is okay, then I'm good. If I'm right here, if I'm good, man, if I'm good right here, let me know. I'm going to go 5, 4, 3. Oh, so I'm good right here. Okay. All right, look at this thing right here. All right, give me a few seconds here. I'm going to bring up the next guest that's on the show, what have you, and we're going to get this thing going the right way possible. All right, we got the 848. You're live, 848. Talk to us, 848. I can't hear you, 848. All right, we're going to bring in another person. Oh, but I got the Rolodex machine going on over here. All right, I'm going to bring in a 240. 240, what do you know? 240. 240, you're live. I'm going to bring up the 409. Somebody else, man. Let me see if we can. 409, you're live.
You this is 409. How you doing?
Doing good, man.
Hey, look, my name is Marvis Brown. I've been a Cowboy fan since probably 45 years. And football has changed.
Just turn your radio down on the background. Turn your radio down on the background, and we got it.
Okay, this what the deal is. This what our problem is. Football has changed. We've gone to a mobile style quarterback prototype. Your backup Dak is a prototype quarterback, premier quarterback that's a dual threat. These pocket quarterbacks, that's dead and gone. And what the problem was, Andy Dalton, he's not the same style of quarterback that we're accustomed to like Dak is. We got to go get us a dog that's gonna go get that 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, and that's gonna keep our defense off the field. You got to go get one of these quarterbacks that can use his feet and get you a first down. But the 100% of our problem, and everybody's scared to say it, Jerry Jones needs a general manager.
Right.
You got Eric B. Okay, listen. You got Eric Bieniemy sitting there, just won a Super Bowl. Andy Dalton getting all the credit, and he's not a head coach yet. It's ridiculous.
Facts.
McCarthy got fired by Green Bay. We have the most prolific talent on Dallas ain't never had this many weapons on offense, but they didn't have a quarterback that can keep everything honest when we lost Dak. And let's just go back 20, 30 years. We've always had dominant interior linemen on the offense and defensive side of the ball. We've always had dogs. Man, we getting pushed off the ball on defense. Our offensive line is in the quarterback's face. That's going back even with Dak Prescott. We need to go back to first of all, we need a general manager.
Right.
And we need to go get a superstar type of head coach. Like Eric Bieniemy is hot. And if see the window of opportunity to get a great coach, you're not going to get Mike Tomlin because Roethlisberger is making Mike Tomlin look bad. You might be able to steal Bill Belichick from New England because he wants to get away from there right now. He wants a new. And be honest with you, man, I'm calling Nick Saban saying, man, I'm giving you the keys to the whole thing. You have to do something bold at the head coach position if you're gonna win. Jerry Jones wants too much of the credit, and we are the problem because we support Dallas. And Jerry been the problem. We should have left Jerry when he fired Jimmy Johnson. So really, the fans are the problem. Because how you gonna fire a coach that win the Super Bowl?
It's one of those things, man, whereas we can look back at this thing left and right, and I just think that the Cowboys are what we're going to be like. This is what Jerry Jones does. He want all of the credit. He want all of the fame, and we can't get away from that. You know, hey, where you from, fam?
I'm from Orange, Texas, man.
Orange, Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
So you got your house, you got your living room, you got your dining room, all the way you want it, right? I can't tell you where to put things. And regardless of the situation, you probably won't even listen to me if I tell you, man, put the coffee table in the corner over there, right? So that is what's going on. Jerry Jones, he's already got his mind made up that nobody can tell him nothing because his success was his failure. Why was that? Because when I guess when Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones split, by us going to the conference championship game and lost, and then ultimately that next year winning it with Barry Switzer, that empowered him to think that, hey, I did it my way, and this is my way or the highway, and this is what is going on right now. His success became his pitfall.
But this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. We as fans, Dallas Cowboy fans, are the most loyal fans in the world. And right now, for the last, I'm going to say 15 years,
right,
we the laughing stock. We have been the laughing stock. And, hey, it's about production. As far as just Dallas fans, we going on Troy Aikman. We going on Emmitt Smith. We going on Michael Irvin.
Right.
These Cowboy players have not earned the star yet. Like Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel, he has the talent, but it's like he ain't got no dog in him no more. You know, it's like Amari Cooper. He got that big contract, and he don't go get it. You know, C.D. Lamb, I'm giving him the ball 15 to 20 times a game because he's a dog. Now, where my dogs at on the defensive line? I don't even know their names.
Man, it's one of those things, man.
I don't know the names. Now the caller was talking about get rid of the linebackers. No. Your defensive linemen have not helped the cornerbacks and the linebackers because they don't have a push. We don't have a push up front, you know. And you can't really expect a rookie to come in and set the tone for you on the defensive line. Where's the leadership up front? You know, Tyrod Smith. Hey man, that's one of the greatest players that ever played on offense. You know, if he decides to retire. You can't put the blame on him. He's an old warrior lion. Hey, and I'm just telling Cowboy Nation, y'all might as well accept it. We in rebuild mode.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you, man. Good call, man. I really appreciate you. Let me figure this thing out, man. Great call. Call back whenever you get a chance. Really appreciate you, Brown.
Hey, Happy New Year. God bless you.
Amen. Amen to that one. All right, so I'm still trying to fix this audio. So am I too loud? I'm seeing my dog saying I'm too low. I got a lot of people that's still in the waiting room over here. Really appreciate you guys. Let me know if my audio is too low. It's low on my end because I try to do some finagling. But this is me basically. It's too loud? Boy, you got that loud, huh? Oh, my goodness, man. I will go to the next way. but there's no holding, and I like it this way because there's a holding pattern. It's fine. All right, I got to go, guys. I got to go. But I really appreciate you guys. That's all the time that I have for this beautiful moment. For those who is in the chat box, man, I really appreciate everybody. But I got to roll up out of here. Really appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. Oh, my goodness. Let me end this. We got to end the show, but I really appreciate everybody. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this content, let a friend, neighbor, foe know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and Beyond. I got a little deal on my end I got to go run to and attend to, but hey, we will talk again, we will re-meet, and we will revamp this thing again. Peace. We out. Family duties, right?